You're watching Bhutan This Week. I am Pemal Hardin. Our top stories this week. A uniform application of bail procedures to decongest prisons and detention centres. Bhutan to graduate from a least developed country to a developing country by the end of 12th five-year plan. And Thimphu receives one of the heaviest snowfalls in recent years. Towards decongesting prison and detention centre population, courts will now be maintaining a uniform application of bail procedures. They will also speed up passing of judgment for cases such as drug-related cases where several people are arrested.
For instance, prisons in Thimphu can accommodate about 780 people. However, at the moment, it has to adjust 1 to 200 inmates more. Speaking at the National Judicial Conference today, Chief Justice Sring Wangchu said courts will find a separate place to keep detainees who need to be under custody till the judgment is passed.
Community service, Shumitilu Pentopi, Labe Tuniki, Labrudisue, the Zodalu, the Kogi, Shivimidilu, Michigi, Tamasha Bemidilu, the Chonkanama, Shumitilu Pentopi, Lachi Benina, Suda Dochibo, and Tita, the Hagi Golden Tapni Sevi, the Sagadisue, the Tisue, Kadere Belchim Tara.
At the conference, the judges also deliberated on timely issuance and execution of summon orders with proper address. Citing an example, Thimphu District Court's Judge Kilin Namgir said it is challenging when it concerns arrest of the members of armed forces and monk body. They also discussed about payment for witness and other administrative issues faced in their daily functioning. The 4th Judicial Conference will conclude on Tuesday. Changadoji for BBS News.
The National Conference on Women adopted the Thimphu Declaration, which calls for actions to ensure 30% women candidature both in the upcoming parliamentary elections and the 2021 local government elections. The 3-day conference ended on Friday last week.
With 3 goals and 8 measures to help advance gender equality in governance, leadership and politics in Bhutan, the Thimphu Declaration essentially covers ways and means to increase women participation in decision-making. The first 2 goals are to ensure 30% women candidature both in the 2018 parliamentary elections and the 2021 local government elections. The third goal is to increase the number of women executives or leaders in the civil service or public service by 25% in the next 8 years.
Whether it is media, civil society, government agencies, political parties, local government, we're going to ask each of them to have their own Thimphu Declaration in a way. And some of it will be the main Thimphu Declaration. And we are hopeful that this will be more short-term, because also looking at the 3rd parliamentary elections, that's where we want to see some difference.
To achieve the Thimphu Declaration goals, 8 measures have been drawn. This include reviewing electoral and other relevant policies, laws and regulations, adopting gender equality policy and proposing local government election campaign fund. The declaration also requires political parties to revisit and commit to mainstream gender in their charter and manifesto, carry out gender-responsive advocacy, especially by media and civil society organizations, enable gender-responsive election environment to increase voter turnout, and to create a system where women leaders in different offices mentor other aspiring women candidates. Sonam Funso for BBS News.
The 3rd National Council election will take place between February and May next year, and the election to the National Assembly will take place between August and October 2018. To ensure free and fair elections, the Election Commission of Bhutan advises everyone to plan programs and activities involving public gathering to avoid this time period.
During these periods, we would like to remind the general public not to organize any religious activities, any activity which involves a huge gathering. And this is not because the ECB does not respect the customs or ECB does not respect the religion, but ECB respects these two aspects so much so that we do not want the sanctity of the religion to be mixed up with the politics, because in such gatherings people can blame anybody, because wherever we gather we talk, and when we talk some issues can be, we might talk whether we do it intentionally or unintentionally. When it is politics, we talk about any of the parties, and that can be viewed as an issue by another party, and that way the things are getting mixed up.
Bhutan Council for School Examinations and Assessment will introduce double entry tabulation method to ensure error-free assessment for board exam papers. This is following the recent case where the arts topper changed after a clerical recheck.
Unlike the current practice, the new system will involve an additional professional for entering marks in the computer system.
So from next year, what we are going to do is the whole tabulation process, the whole result processing, we will have at least 2 independent people doing the same work, so that at the end we are able to tally. And if it tallies, then we are assured that there's no mistakes. But if there's a mistake in one and the 2 does not tally, then we'll have to cross-check again to see where the mistake is. So this is one of the steps that we are trying to ensure that such things don't happen in the future.
According to the Secretary of the Bhutan Council for School Examinations and Assessment, the mistake regarding the arts topper was made while punching the final marks. The Council has already taken administrative actions on the officials involved in the case.
So in this case, we found that the mistake had been while in the tabulation. And we also know exactly which support staff or which teachers were responsible for entering the marks. Because at every stage, we have a lot of processes in the marking camp. At each process, they are supposed to maintain a journal, a logbook. So based on the logbook and journal, we have found out exactly who the responsible people for making that error is. And from our side, we have written to the respective Dzongkhok Education Officer, because they were the candidates who were nominated by the Dzongkhok Education Officer. So saying that they have made those lapses or negligence during the marking camp, and therefore in future we will not be requiring their services anymore.
In the meantime, to ensure efficiency and accountability, Big C in the next 2 to 3 years also plans to fully digitalize and automate examination system in the country. Samtin Dolkar and Pasang Dorji for BBS News.
Bhutan will soon graduate from being one of the least developed to developing country, but not without continued support from the development partners. At the inaugural of the 13th Roundtable meeting, Prime Minister Thring Topge announced that the 12th Five-Year Plan will be the last mile development journey towards achieving this goal. The guideline for the 12th Five-Year Plan was launched in the capital.
Prime Minister said it would be a delight for the country to be graduating from least developed country, considering the challenge of a shallow economy. He added that the entire GDP stands at just $2 billion, and the economy is dominated by hydropower and subsistence agriculture with just 2.90% of cultivable land.
Most of our population live in very rural areas. We are prone to natural disasters. And this is why our economy is fragile. We are vulnerable to shocks from both within the country and from outside. However, we are confident that we can overcome these challenges. I believe that we are on this last mile to overcoming our status as a least developed country. To overcome our challenges, we need to continue to work hard.
But we also need the generous support and guidance of our development partners. This last mile in development, I believe, is represented by our 12th five-year plan.
The emphasis of the 12th five-year plan strategic framework is to ensure what is planned is delivered. The Gross National Happiness Framework will be extended from 4 pillars to 9 domains. This is in keeping with the recent GNH survey results, where psychological well-being, community vitality and good governance were reported to be falling behind. With additional reporting from Sonampem Pupgame for BBS News.
Beginning 1st of March, Ducksong Monastery along with the Tourism Council of Bhutan started introducing 500 Nultram entry fees to Ducksong Monastery. The fee has been introduced to provide a detailed visit to tourists and maintain sacredness of the monastery. The fee does not apply to Bhutanese visitors.
At Ramtangka, where the ticket counter is located, tour guides have to inform tourists about the entry fee and assist them to the ticket counter. Otherwise, many who head to Ducksong without paying the fees have to return without getting an opportunity to visit the monastery. According to Tourism Council of Bhutan, the fee system has been put in place to provide a better experience to the visitors and manage important places like Ducksong and its trekking route. The tourists will now receive a guided tour of the monastery after reaching Ducksong.
Non-Bhutanese, of course, but again, tourists who pay $65 will not have to pay. So those who have to pay are the people who are here for business, who are here to visit friends and relatives, who are here as an official guest, and people who do not pay, as I mentioned earlier, $65, which fall under which it's Indian tourist, and then you have this Bangladesh tourist, and then people from Maldives. So all these people will have to pay to go to Ducksong to visit Ducksong Monastery.
He added that the students will have a discount of 250 Ngitam upon producing their student ID. Between 80 to 90 tourists visit Ducksong every day. Ducksong will remain open from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. without lunch break. For Sangechuzum in Paro, Pemonamge, BBS News.
Bhutan will have one more private university college by July this year. Kinga High School in Paro will be upgraded to Norboling Riksar College. It will initially start with 2 university degree courses, Bachelor's of Business Administration and Bachelor's of Commerce.
Remodeling of Kinga High School to a college, based on the requirements put forward by the Tertiary Education Board and the Royal University of Bhutan, started in December last year. Almost 80% of the work is now complete.
The requirements and the conditions put by the Tertiary Education Board when they gave us the in-principle approval is mainly related to the infrastructure. We had to remodel the classrooms, the hostels had to be converted, dormitories had to be converted to rooms to suit the standard of the college. And the requirement from the Royal University of Bhutan is mainly related to the faculty, the teaching faculty, and library as well as the internet facilities. And as you went around, you could see the progress made in 2 months, and we still have 2 months for the visits, final visit.
He said a football ground with a gallery, an auditorium and a swimming pool will be constructed in the second phase within the 17-acre land of the campus. For the autumn semester this year, the college will recruit about 350 students.
This year, we have almost 10,500 students who sat for class 12 examination. Of this, the colleges in Bhutan have a capacity to absorb only about 3,500 to 4,000. Rest, they have to go elsewhere outside Bhutan. And when they go outside Bhutan, they'll end up studying in cheap colleges. So it's an alternative for them to study in Bhutan, where the programs, we are going to start with Bachelor's in Business Administration and Bachelor's in Commerce, which is a Royal University of Bhutan program.
The college plans to recruit 18 lecturers, of which 80% will constitute of Bhutanese professionals. Compiled for Sangechunzom in Paro, Yishe Galson, BBS News.
From now on, if a vehicle's registration certificate, commonly known as Blue Book, is not renewed for 2 consecutive years, the Road Safety and Transport Authority will deregister the vehicle. The authority may process automatic deregistration upon issuing notice to the owner, police and respective RSTA officers.
As of January this year, there are over 84,800 vehicles registered in the country. But RSTA officials say some vehicle owners do not renew their documents, which hampers in tracking the exact number of vehicles in the country.
Some people do not renewing their registration certificate and we are trying to find them. We have also announced to renew their registration certificate. Still, it is difficult to determine the number of vehicles who have not renewed their documents.
However, officials say renewal of registration of a deregistered vehicle shall be permitted upon providing satisfactory justification and payment of a penalty of 100 ngultram per day for the number of years with outstanding due.
Many people do not renew their registration certificate, but it may be because they are busy with their works. And now, in the new regulation, it has been stated that if a vehicle registration certificate is not renewed for 2 years, it will be deregistered automatically.
By rule, a vehicle owner has to renew its registration certificate annually. Failure to do so on or before the specified date results in a penalty of 10 ngultram per day to a maximum of 3,000 ngultram. Compiled for Sringzam in Kanglung, Yishe Gelson, BBS News.
Residents in Thimphu woke up to one of the heaviest snowfalls in recent history on Saturday last week. All schools and government offices in the capital and other Dzongkhaks receiving their first snowfall remained closed.
Braving the cold brought forth by the much anticipated time of the year, people took to the streets and open grounds to engage in snow fights and build snowmen. While some took to higher grounds such as Kinsalfodra and Sangega, others enjoyed the snowfall in their neighborhood.
Last year since the Kauchungujam Toinsa the Dariboda the Atsi Kauatsishu the bomb and Bindiginas excited ten the Dohasa Lomiola. Coach Abdulu Atsi mind ya refresh Yumivala.
This is actually my first ever snowfall I've seen, so I'm very excited.
It's such a beautiful place and first time to experience snow in Thimphu, so we just wanted to come up here and see the snow on the beautiful statue here. I had some breakfast and then quickly got ready to go out and take some pictures.
According to the Department of Hydromet Services, the snowfall in Thimphu was as heavy as 7 inches deep. The weather is expected to improve by midday tomorrow. Similarly, Paro, Ha, Gasa and Pumtang experienced snowfall today. Meanwhile, the weather condition has hampered transportation, especially along the east-west highway. Buses heading east from Thimphu were cancelled and private vehicles stopped at Semtoka. Also, due to heavy snowfall at Trumshingla Pass, vehicles travelling from eastern Dzongkhaks towards Pumtang were sent back or made to halt at Mongar. Compiled for Sherabduji, Yishe Gelson, BBS News.
Omashu Bridge along Samtsi-Phensling Highway will finally be complete by August this year. Construction of the bridge has been delayed by over 5 years. The bridge should have been complete by September 2011.
Construction of Omashu Bridge started in 2009 to connect Samtsi and Chuka districts. But even after over 9 years, construction works are still ongoing. 2 contractors were terminated for not being able to complete the works. Since then, Department of Roads took over the project. The 175-meter bridge, which will be the longest cemented bridge in the country, will mainly benefit people of Tadinggeok in Samtsi. People currently use an old suspension bridge over the river. For years, people have been looking forward to the completion of the new bridge and are not happy with the slow work progress.
Many years have passed since the construction work started and is still not complete. People of Ngaung Damte and Namgetapa are struggling without a motorable bridge. We hire taxi till one side of the road and carry the load on our backs to the other side. We again hire a taxi from there to reach our homes and spend double the fare. We would be very grateful if the government could speed up the construction works. Currently, it is very tiring to carry the load on our backs and cross the river.
We have to pay 100 nultrum till the bridge and same from the other side. Moreover, we have to walk in between, which is difficult.
The Department of Roads in Samsi says works are still incomplete due to a minor problem with bridge design, which is first of its kind in the country. Road officials said they are currently waiting for expertise from India to carry out the remaining works. For Tamchazam in Samsi, Pupgame for BBS News.
Farm Machinery Corporation Limited is piloting spring paddy or double cropping in 3 southern districts. The Agriculture and Forest Minister Ishidoji kick-started the plantation from Gelifugeok in Sarpang on Tuesday. BG1, a rice variety from Assam in India, will be tried on almost 800 acres of paddy fields of Samrupzonkar, Samsi and Sarpang. The variety, officials say, will be ready for harvest within 3 months of its transplantation.
Here we are doing 200 acres in Gelifu, and in Chusugang we are doing 250 acres. In Samsi we are doing 120 acres. In Gelifu we are in Samrupzonkar we are doing around almost 200 acres. So such a huge scale in the history of paddy mechanization, we are taking up this.
The project will not only contribute towards achieving rice self-sufficiency, but also in avoiding farmers from keeping their fields fallow due to labour shortage. For now, the corporation will keep major share of the harvest.
Just now, as a trial phases, as an initial, we also have not gone into big scale, so we said that 20% we will give to the farmers and 80% we will look into that. So, but later on, based on the profitability, based on the production, based on this farmers' demand, the share cropping might increase, maybe from 20 to 30%. There is chances, and we hope that we should do this and encourage the farmers.
The Farm Machinery Corporation identified the Zonkaks considering its favourable climatic conditions and topography. They said the fields are spread across flatlands and using bigger farm machinery will be convenient, hence reducing the cost of production. Compiled for Karmongdi in Sarbang, this is Pemal Hadin for BBS News. That's all we have for this week. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.